Mark Stoops has done a phenomenal job of turning Kentucky from an underdog into a team that wins 10 games. This isn't a program in the SEC East of all divisions that you'd expect to be where they've been in terms of winning games. But he has done a phenomenal job of exceeding expectations and proving people wrong. And they're going to do that again this year. I think people are higher on them than maybe in years past, but this is still a program that's doubted because you have the Georgias. And in the conference that they have, Georgia's in their division, but Alabama, LSU, Texas A&M are also in that conference. There's so many teams that are so good that Kentucky honestly just gets overlooked, and that motivates them. And we're going to see that again this year with the talent they have returning. Will Levis continues to get first round love, even number one overall pick love. And while we do need to temper those expectations, this is a kid with a ton of talent in terms of what he can do with the tools that he has. The production has to get better. 13 interceptions isn't going to really be something that's going to get you a top pick in a consistent basis, but he has the arm talent that could put him up there. And if he takes a step forward in terms of passing, he also has some rushing ability that could help him out there. And if he reduces those interceptions, then we're talking about a team that is going to be fun to watch and puts Will Levis into that conversation. Now, while I don't think that he's going to compete with a Bryce Young or a CJ Stroud, this is someone who could be a top 3 quarterback when we're talking about the 2023 NFL draft. And people believe that in Lexington. People believe that outside of Lexington. We've seen a number of mock drafts that have Will Levis near the top, but there are some things that he has to do in order for that to come true. And I'm really excited to see what he can do with the talent that they brought in at pass catching. And the running back will be a question as well, which we'll talk about in just a sec. Now, if Chris Rodriguez is good to go this year, his status is up in the air as of right now when I record this, but this is the guy who could be, honestly, he could be number one on this list. 1,300 yards last year, averaged 6.1 yards per carry. To average 6.1 yards per carry in the SEC is pretty impressive. That is something that not a lot of running backs can do, and to do that in the toughest conference says a lot. Now, again, it just comes down to whether or not he'll be on the field this season, but this is a guy with all the talent that you could imagine for Kentucky. And I think that if he is back, this is a 1-2 punch with Levis and Rodriguez that is one of the best combos in the entire country. Now we dive into a group that is arguably one of the best groups in all of college football, and that's linebacker. It's hard to pick one of these guys because any one of them can go off in any game. JJ Weaver, to me, has the biggest upside. I think that he has the NFL talent that people are going to covet because they're going to use him more on the edge. And that's really exciting. I think when you get past the 6-finger thing, if you don't know about that, go research that. But when you get past that, this is a guy with a ton of talent, a ton of potential, and the upside is there. And I think that he's poised to have a big season. He's preparing, and everything that I've heard is he's talking about having a big year. And with this group of linebackers, it's going to be tough to stand out, but JJ Weaver is a guy that can do that. JACQUEZ Jones is the leader of the linebackers, more of that interior linebacker that's going to get everything started, going to get guys in position. And that's why he's in the top 5 for Kentucky. I think that he is just a great. Getting him from Ole Miss was a huge transfer get by Mark Stoops, and he was an instant impact player that is ready to prove that he can do it once again. Losing Wan'Dale Robinson was a huge loss, and I think that people are wondering who's going to step up in his place, and I think they've already found it in TAYVION Robinson. The Virginia Tech transfer is already putting on a show in the Kentucky offense, and I think that he's found good chemistry with Will Levis in his limited time. And when you look at the speed that he brings to this offense, he's going to fit in just fine in the SEC. He's going to do things that remind people of Wan'Dale Robinson. And giving Will Levis a go-to guy is a huge step in terms of taking this offense to the next level, especially if Rodriguez can't go. Again, linebacker is going to be super talented, and DeAndre Square arguably could be at the top of that list, but he's third for now. And after last year, 81 tackles, 9.5 tackles for loss, and 3 sacks is really good. And that's something that's going to be huge because you need guys to step up when teams take away JJ Weaver, when teams take away Jones, when teams are looking to exploit somebody on your defense. A guy like DeAndre Square could be someone that they target. And he's proven that he is disruptive. He's proven that he can make those plays. And it's something that gives this Kentucky defense peace of mind, knowing that if teams are going to target him, he's not going to shy away. And if anything, that's a bad decision. Now, the front four, front three, whatever Kentucky is going to use in terms of their front, that is probably a question right now. Now they have the talent that is very exciting, a talent that is going to be a guy like Justin Rogers up the middle who can be disruptive and open things up for the linebackers behind him. That's going to be the big key, maybe the big X factor of this defense is how are they going to step up and prove to be disruptive, because it's not going to matter if the linebackers are good if they're making tackles 4 and 5 yards behind the line of scrimmage or after the line of scrimmage. And Justin Rogers can be that disruptive player that eats up double teams, which opens space for the linebackers behind him, and it allows this defense to be disruptive, to slow down opposing rushing attacks, but also give guys like J.J. Weaver more room to work and to maneuver. And that's something that's going to be really key to watch when you're looking at Kentucky this year. Final linebacker is Jordan Wright, probably the one that gets forgotten the most because his production wasn't as high as the other guys, but there's only so many tackles and tackles for loss and sacks that go around. But Jordan Wright could be a guy that steps up and has the best productive season because, like I said before, Weaver and Jones and even Square are going to get a ton of attention, and teams eventually are going to be looking for someone to manipulate, and Jordan Wright could be that guy. Now, I'm really excited about his potential, really excited about his talent, and even if teams do decide to target him, I don't think that you're going to be super successful if you're targeting any Kentucky linebacker this year. Kentucky lost quite a bit of talent to the NFL in terms of offensive line, but Kenneth Horsey is back and gives them one of the more experienced players on that offensive line. He's going to get guys around him to step up, especially when they need 2 new tackles, and that's huge. Having a guy who can dominate in the trenches is going to be a big key for this offense, especially the rushing attack. And if he can find chemistry with the guys around him, this is an offense that I think is going to be very successful in what they're trying to do. If KEATON UPSHAW can stay healthy, I think that he is going to have a big breakout season for Kentucky. This is a big body tight end that is a great pass catcher when healthy. And if he is able to take a step forward and find some chemistry with Will Levis and be able to get open, I think that teams are going to really worry about what they're going to do to stop him, because this is, I don't know, it's a tough team to stop already. And you add a guy like Upshaw, again, if he stays healthy and lives up to his potential, that gives Kentucky something really to work with that's terrifying. And this is a team that, again, is going to be underrated. People don't really pay attention to Kentucky football in terms of if you're just a general college football fan, but this is a team that you really will have fun watching. It's a team that's going to exceed expectations. They're going to do well in the SEC East. And when you're looking at what this team can do, I don't know if they can overthrow Georgia, but they're definitely going to do everything they can to make life difficult for the teams that are rated above them. And they're going to make sure that they do their best to win double digits once again.